Hello, my dear children. Welcome to the today's session. So, in yesterday's class, we have learned a lot of things about civil disobedience movement, how the civil disobedience movement um, was being launched and what are its limitations, how the people were not giving support to the civil disobedience movement which took place in our country. Okay, some category of the people they did not supported it, but also later on they also gave the support because a treaty was being signed between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the Mahatma Gandhi ji there. Okay, so in yesterday's class, I have explained about Quit India movement. So once again, I want to repeat it, the Quit India movement which took place in our country. At last, I'm going to show one video regarding the Quit India movement which was took place in our country there. Okay, so first of all, Quit India movement. So at that time, when the Quit India movement was being launched, before that, the Second World War was being broke out. So as a result, the India did not participated in Second World War because already the people were suffering from the economic depression and too much national sentiment were being raised. A lot of movements were being taking place. So at that period, British did not interfered in that one, and they participated in the Second World War. So as a result, they won the Second World War. So during this world war, the Indians they were thinking that maybe after the Second World War the Britishers may transfer our power to the Indians. So it was one of the disappointment which took place after the Second World War. Immediately the British government announced Cripps mission. So a person called Mr. Cripps, he was coming to our country to talk with the national leaders about the um, yes, about the good relationship between Indians as well as the Britishers there. So when that person came to our country in the month of July 14th, 1942, he started talking with the nationalist people as well as national freedom fighters to reduce as well as to take back all kind of movements there, so that they can have a healthy relationship between Britishers and them. So, however, the freedom fighters they did not agree, and immediately they launched the Quit India movement because do or die, we want the independence now. Okay, so Cripps mission was been failure. So after that, the people started showing anger towards the British government that we want the full independence and the the power should be transferred to the Indian people at time. This is the correct time. No, now we are ready to take over the administration as well as take over the government. So one pressure was been going on the British government also. So this mission was been failure. So many of the people joined the Quit India movement in 1942 when it was being launched. Even women's also participated. For an example, Aruna Asif Ali, some prominent leaders like Jai Prakash Narayan, Aruna Asif Ali, Ram Mohan Lohia, Hazra in Bengal, Matangi, Matangi Hazra in Bengal, uh, in Assam, Rama Devi in Odisha. So, in some places, women's played a very important role in the Quit India movement, and also Britishers they could not stop, they could not suppress immediately the Quit India movement. Already, each and every Indians they were fed up of British administration. So, as a result, they wanted. Full independence there. So as a result, the Quit India movement was being launched, and when the Britishers were ready to transfer the um, this one what we will tell to transfer the power to the Indian people, Muhammad Ali Jinnah at that time he kept a demand in front of a British government that we want another nation. We don't want any kind of domination of Hindu society on Islamic religion there. So at that time only in 1946 and 47, during that time the partition took place. I have told about partition in the last year when I was explaining about constitutional design. Okay, so it was one of the violently where the Indian and Hindus and Muslim, they fought very badly. Bloodshed was being took place, and as a result, the partition took place in our country, India and Pakistan. There. Okay, so in 1947, we got the independence on 15th August. Okay, as a result, India was being partitioned into two parts. While going, also they did divide and rule. See. Okay, so they were having the power to unite them, but they did not did. They gave the permission for the division of the nation. So as a result, Muslim community people, they went to the Pakistan. Most of the people, and some of the people, they remained here only. Bloodshed took place during the period of partition there. So we got the independence on 15th August 1947 at the midnight. Yes. So in yesterday's class, I have put one question for you people. How do the nationalism sentiment was being spreaded among the people? What were the sources? Only the movements, strikes, hartal, speeches. Only they gave the spirit, as well as they enhanced the national sentiment among the people. Okay. Some other sources will be there now to help out for that one. So do you know what are those sources? Do you know? Are you imagining some of the concepts what I have explained in the first chapter? You already learned in the first chapter about the national sentiment, how the national sentiment growth was been taking place. Okay, so same thing in our country also. By using some sources, they started enhancing the national sentiment among the people. In what way? In today's class, we are going to learn about the sense of collective belongings. Okay, so the sense of collective belongings came partly through the experience of the united struggles, but there were also a variety of cultural processes through which the nationalism captured in the people's imagination. So, when this kind of collective belongings become a part of enhancing the national sentiment among the people, so the struggles, and you all know we are having a diverse culture, different kinds of cultures are been there. So those culture gave a path to the people to imagine what are the sources we can use to enhance the national sentiment there. For an example, history and fiction, like historical movements, historical events which took place in our country during the period of Islamic religion, when Islam religion people, they were coming and capturing our country also during that time. Very bravely, very courageously, some of the Indians, they refused their administration. So about those events, those fiction, the people started coming to know. Folklore, that is folk songs, were being sung in the open area regarding the freedom fighters, like Alluri Sitaram Raju. He became the folk hero in the Andhra Pradesh. So about his history and about his achievement through the folk song only, they used to enhance the national sentiment. Popular prints like popular paintings, symbols like flag, as well as the paintings regarding the Bharat Mata, that is you have already learnt about allegory. So these all people played a very important part in the making of nationalism there in our country. So the identity of the nation is often symbolized in a figure or a image in our country. So this helps to create an image with which the people can identify the nation. By seeing that picture only will come to know, yes, this is our country, we are proud of being a citizen of our country. Yes or no? When you hear the patriotic song, when you hear the paintings regarding the freedom fighters as well as the allegories of our country, really somewhere else 1% or a 2% or a 10-15% by hearing the events of historical events, you will feel little bit proudness. ಓಕೆ ನಮ್ ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಘನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಘನ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹೆರಿಟೇಜ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ ನಾವ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು? ವೈ we are having the power to control it, then why could not? So in this way, people started revolting against the British rule there. For an example, in our country, the first lady who fought against the British administration is Kittur Rani Channamma. So about Kittur Rani Channamma, Sangolli Rayana, each and every people, they started coming to know about their principles. They wanted those people started spreading the national sentiment among the people there. So in the southern part, the first lady who fought against the British administration is Kitturani Channamma only. So about their history, about their achievement, about their personality, ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನೀವು ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ಅನಿಸ್ತೈತಿ. You will feel little bit proud only. Okay, you will imagine, you will in your mind only, in your sense only, the national sentiment will be lightened. So that way, in that way, the people started collecting the some of the collective belongings to enhance the spirit of nationalism in our country. So as a result, people started imagining in the form of figure and in the form of image there. So it was 20th century, with the growth of nationalism, that identify of India came to be visualized associated with the imagination of Bharat Mata. So at that time they started imagining. So if like a allegory, you have learnt about allegory in the last chapter only. So they started imagining by visualizing the picture there. So the first image was created by the Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, the Bharat Mata painting, as well as he wrote a song called Vande Mataram. Even till today, if you hear the Vande Mataram song, the spirit of nationalism will be grown, as well as it will be lightened there. So as well as in our school, as well as in, you have heard Sare Jahan Se Acha song. Okay, by hearing that song only, the national sentiment will be raised among you people. Do you know who wrote the Sare Jahan Se Acha song? So he's nothing else. He's a novelist, as well as he's a writer called Muhammad Iqbal. So during the this kind of tension period, India and Pakistan partition was discussion was been going on. At that time, this song was being written so that he can unite the Hindus and Muslim during that time there. So Vande Mataram, Sare Jahan Se Acha. So these songs became one of the ideals for the nationalist people to enhance the national sentiment in our country. So Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, he wrote, as well as he created the first image, and he wrote Vande Mataram in the year 1870s there. So later, Vande Mataram was been included in a novel called Anandamath, which was written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, and it was sung during the Swadeshi movement, which took place in our country. So next thing about Bharat Mata image, Abhindranath Tagore, he was the first person to imagine the Bharat Mata, and later on the different artists projected the different vision of Bharat Mata according to their own sense there. Folklore, folklore also became a most of the part to spread the national sentiment among the people. Okay, many nationalist leaders took help of folk tales and spread the nationalism idea of nationalism throughout the people. And also they started collecting some of the folklore songs, which is regarding to enhance the patriotic songs there. So the freedom fighters, they believed that folk tales revealed the true picture of traditional and our culture of our country. So next one is the national flag. The tricolor national flag was being used during the period of Swadeshi movement, and there were the 8 lotus on it which they depicted, and the 8 provinces of the Britishers was being shown in that one, and there was a crescent moon on the flag which represented the Hindus and Muslim that we are a one, and it was designed in 1921. So the first Indian flag, the tricolor flag, was been designed by a person called Pingali Venkaya. Uh, he was the first person to design our national flag, and it was being used in the various movement there. So the ideas of nationalism also developed through a movement and review the Indian folklore during that time. In 19th century, India's nationalists began to record folk songs sung by the villagers, and they started moving from one place to another place to enhance the national sentiment by singing the folk songs about the legends. In the Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore, he himself started collecting some of the ballad songs, nursery rhymes, and myths, which led a national movement in our country, so that it will be helpful to gather a large number of people by singing this kind of songs. So this is the picture who painted by the Abindranath Tagore, and you can see the characteristics of Bharat Mata. So she is very calm and spiritual, divine, has been composed. Yes or no? By saying that one calmness is there. She is holding four Vedas as well as the palm leaves. In the another hand, she is using some monies. Okay, by saying that some peaceful mind will be there. Yes or no? She is very calm, composed, divine, and spiritual. So these are the characteristics of Bharat Mata, which was being uh, portrayed by um, Abindranath Tagore. And one more figure, we can see another painting, which is a contrast of Abindranath Tagore. It is shown, she is holding a Trishula. Beside the lion is there, elephant is there. Both are the symbol of power and authority. Lion and elephant both are very strong animals, and to show the identity that we are strong and we are having the capacity to hold the power and the authority, to show to give a message to the people. These two animals were being portrayed by the painters there. So first one by the Abindranath Tagore, and the in a flip part you can see another painting which was done by the another artist, who portrayed that we are very powerful, and we are having the capability to hold the power and the authority there. So by doing this kind of pictures only, they used to portray what are their ideas to enhance the national sentiment among the people there. So in the Madras, Natesha Shastri, he was also a scholar who collected the massive folk tales which was written in the Tamil language. Nearly 4 volumes it was been written, and the book name is the Folklore of South India. The as a national movement developed, the national leader become a more and more aware of such icons and the symbols in the unifying the people. Uh, Other means of creating the national sentiment among the people through the interpretation of our history. At that period, 18th from 16, you can tell about the 17th century onwards. From 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th century, Indian and the Britishers, they started when they heard about this kind of folk tales, this kind of folk song. Britishers and our country people, those who were educated, they took very interest to find out what are the events which took place in the past pages of history. They started interpreting the historical period there. By the end of 19th century, Indians began feeling that our culture and our tradition also enhance the national pride when they hear about historical events. In the response, Indians began looking into the past, discovery a great India's greatest achievements which took place in the past pages. And they wrote the glorious development of ancient time, when art and architecture, science, mathematics, religion, culture, law, philosophy, craft, and trade were being flourished. When you heard about Gupta Empire, when you heard about Vijayanagara Empire, so during this time, our culture, our tradition was being modernized, and these two period we call it as a golden period of our country. Gupta period, the science was being developed, the law and philosophy was being developed, mathematics was being so much improved, technology, science, each and everything, we are having a great art and architectural form. So Indians started looking, as well as they started enhancing the national sentiment through this, writing some of the historical books regarding Samudragupta, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, as well as the Kharavela, mm, Krishna Devaraya, lot many people, they gave lot of contribution towards our motherland. So when they came, when they started discovering the events which took place in the past back, it also helped to enhance the national sentiment among the people. That time the people they were coming to know, yes, we are having a rich glory, as well as rich cultural heritage. Then why we are under their control? Yes or no? If you heard about this kind of, if you heard about this kind of writings among the people, means surely the national sentiment will be raised. So as a result, these nationalist historians urged the readers to take a pride in the great India's great achievement in the past and struggle to change the miserable condition of the life under the British rule. Okay, ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು, they the historians made a connection between the ancient times as well as the present British government there. Okay, through their historical writings. ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜರ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ they started enhancing in a nationalist way. Whatever the struggles were being took place in our country, um, they give one lesson to the people to change their condition under the British rule. ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಏನು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಏನು ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರ್ದೋ ರಾಜರಾಗಿರ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಇಸ್ಲಾಮಿಕ್ ರಾಜ್ರೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಏನ್ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೂ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೆಂಟಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಕೆಲವು ರಾಜರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ about those people they started writing about their thoughts and everything else. So whatever struggle, whatever changes took place in the past, okay, it will give a foundation to rise the national sentiment among the people to fight against the British rule there. So in this way, people started enhancing the national sentiment among the people through these collective belongings there. So for 5 marks they will ask about collective belongings, which enhance the national sentiment among the people in our country. Conclusion: the Congress, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi ji, tried a channels of the people grievance into the organizing the movement for independence. Through such movement, the nationalists tried to unite the people, and other classes also participated in the movements in the use for various aspirations for the further future there. In the other words, it was been emerging of the nation in many voices wanting a freedom from the colonial rule. So as a result, by using this kind of movements, hartal, strike, satyagraha, immediately the people also gathered, large number of people gathered to fight against the British rule. Many of the voices were being raised. So as a result, 15th August 1947, we got the independence, and the power was being transferred to our Indians there. So this is all about nationalism in India under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi ji. So this content as well as this topic, the nationalism in India in the period of 19th and 20th century, we will name under the Gandhian era. His thoughts, his movements, his leadership qualities, he united the people, and some of the movement under his leadership only took place, and we got the independence on 15th August 1947. You all know about different freedom fighters also, like Bhagat Singh is there, Azad, Chandrasekhar Azad is there, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, still many more, Sukadev, Rajguru. So these are all freedom fighters who gave their life towards the motherland, to get the freedom from the British administration. And it is our responsibility to continue this freedom as well as independence in a correct way, not in a wrong way. At present, the national not in a wrong way. That's it. So I hope today's class you have understood about nationalist sentiment among the people. So signing out, have a great day. Bye everyone. If you are having any kind of doubt, you can just pin your question in the group so that I will try my level best to sort out your problem. So bye everyone. Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
The Quit India Movement, and after. In this module, you'll learn about Mahatma Gandhi's role in the Quit India Movement and the independence of India. Between 1939 and 1945, the world witnessed the Second World War. In 1942, the British government sought the cooperation of the Indians to fight the Axis powers. In March 1942, the government sent a commission headed by Sir Stafford Cripps in order to win over the Indian nationalists. The mission, however, failed to meet the demands of the nationalists. After the Cripps mission failed, in August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi launched the Quit India movement. Immediately afterwards, Gandhi was arrested. However, younger activists such as Jayaprakash Narayan carried on the movement by organizing strikes and acts of sabotage, which took the British government more than 1 year to suppress. In June 1944, Gandhi was released from jail. Thereafter, he observed that the Muslim League had begun expanding its influence in the Punjab and the Sindh provinces. Gandhi then held a series of meetings with Jinnah to arrive at some kind of compromise between the Congress and the Muslim League. In 1945, when the Labour Party came into power in Britain, Viceroy Lord Wavell also arranged several meetings between the Congress and the Muslim League to bring them together. However, he couldn't do so. The political polarization between the Congress and the Muslim League became more apparent in 1946 during the election to the provincial legislatures. The Congress won all the seats in the general category, while the League won the seats reserved for Muslims with huge majority. After the elections, a cabinet mission arrived in 1946 to bridge the gap between the two parties. However, it too failed to bring a compromise on a federal system of government with a degree of autonomy to the provinces. Subsequently, Jinnah announced 16th August 1946 as Direct Action Day to press the demand of Pakistan. When 16th August arrived, bloody riots broke out in Calcutta, which spread to rural Bengal and then to Bihar. After that, the riots spread across the United Provinces and Punjab. Both the Hindus and the Muslims suffered heavy casualties. In February 1947, Lord Mountbatten replaced Lord Wavell as the Viceroy. Mountbatten made one last attempt to achieve a compromise through a round of talks. When he failed, he announced the British would free India with the creation of a separate country of Pakistan. The formal transfer of power was fixed on the 15th of August, 1947. The Day of Independence was celebrated throughout the country. However, Mahatma Gandhi did not join the festivities in the capital. He was in Calcutta mourning the breakup of the country by fasting. Gandhi spent the months of September and October visiting hospitals and refugee camps to console the victims of the riots of the partition. He appealed to the people of all religions to forget the past and be determined to live in peace. To provide constitutional protection, Gandhi and Nehru took the initiative to pass a resolution through the Congress on the rights of the minorities. The Congress wanted to assure that the minorities would enjoy equal rights and would be protected. After working to bring peace in Calcutta, Gandhi moved to Delhi. In Delhi, the refugees disrupted Gandhi's meetings as they objected to his readings from the Quran. They took him to be pro-Muslim and demanded that he should also be concerned about the Hindus and Sikhs living in Pakistan. At a prayer meeting on the 26th of January 1948, Gandhi expressed that Indians should work collectively for equality, and India and Pakistan should help each other and act as one. A few Indians still objected to Gandhi's idea. On 30th of January 1948, Nathuram Godse, an editor of an extremist Hindu newspaper, shot Mahatma Gandhi dead. The death of Mahatma Gandhi wrapped the whole nation in grief. Politicians across the nation paid rich tributes. Appreciations of the life of Gandhiji also came in from international figures such as George Orwell and Albert Einstein. The Time magazine went on to compare the assassination of Gandhiji to that of Abraham Lincoln. Let's recall what we've learned. Between 1939 and 1945, the world witnessed the Second World War. In 1942, the British government sought cooperation of the Indians to fight the Axis powers. In March 1942, the government sent a mission headed by Sir Stafford Cripps in order to win over the Indian nationalists. The mission, however, failed to meet the demands of the nationalists. In August 1942, Gandhi launched the Quit India movement. In 1945, Viceroy Lord Wavell also arranged several meetings between the Congress and the Muslim League to bring them together. The political polarization between the Congress and the Muslim League became more apparent in 1946 during the election to the provincial legislatures. A cabinet mission arrived in 1946 to bridge the gap between the two parties. However, it too failed to bring a compromise. Jinnah announced 16th August 1946 as Direct Action Day to press the demand of Pakistan. When 16th August arrived, bloody riots broke out in Calcutta, which spread to rural Bihar. After that, the riots spread across the United Provinces and Punjab. In February 1947, Lord Mountbatten announced that the British would free India with the creation of a separate country of Pakistan. The formal transfer of power was fixed on the 15th of August 1947. To provide constitutional protection, Gandhi and Nehru took the initiative to pass a resolution through the Congress on the rights of the minorities. On the 30th of January 1948, Nathuram Godse, an editor of an extremist Hindu newspaper, shot Mahatma Gandhi dead. Appreciations of the life of Gandhiji came in from international figures such as George Orwell and Albert Einstein. The Time magazine went on to compare the assassination of Gandhiji to that of Abraham Lincoln.